Hello my little flowers. In this video I have a lot to talk about. I made my way over to Universal Orlando Resort, Universal Studios to be specific, because I had an annual pass holder preview for the new DreamWorks Land that is opening June 14th. While I was there, they also had the new summer tribute store open, and then ET also opened after their long refurbishment. So with all that being said, let's go. Mike the Bee, the music. So first up, I have to talk about the new DreamWorks Land that took the place of Woody Woodpecker's Kids Zone. So first impression, I mean, it's themed so much better than it was in the past. There's a lot more of the immersive theming, which is what a lot of the theme parks seem to be going to these days. Right off the bat, I mean, you're met with Shrek's house, which is where the meet and greet is. You can kind of see the roller coaster in the background. There's kind of a lot hitting you all at the same time. I'm going to try to break it down kind of like piece by piece and walk you through this land and what I experienced during my preview. So right off the bat, I saw Shrek's house, and this is where the new meet and greet for Shrek, Donkey, and Fiona is located. Now, you're not going to get all three all the time. Sometimes you'll get one, sometimes you'll get two, and sometimes you'll get all three of the characters. As far as I know, you don't know who is going to be meeting you when. They do have a little sign, and it has like the hours posted. Right now, there's nothing on the actual app because the land isn't officially open yet. They are still in technical rehearsal. Therefore, you know, it can shut down at any time. Meet and greets could not happen, all that good stuff. So right behind Shrek's house, you're gonna find Shrek's Swamp for Little Ogres. So the area has 4 slides, a playground, and wet play areas. This is a playground made for younger children. Now the children do need to be accompanied by a supervising adult, and also the adults need to be accompanied by a child. So I know it's Shrek, and a lot of people love Shrek and grew up with Shrek, and you want to look at everything that this land has to offer. Just understand, this is an actual playground for little kids. So not that I'm saying that they won't let you go in and look at it, but as far as you just kind of being in there and like trying to play on things, and you know, it's just not built for adults to play. It will support you. There are some kind of like bridges and stuff in that area, and it will support the adults because obviously there needs to be an adult supervising each child. But if you're looking to go in there to play, it's just not made for the big kids. So just kind of keep that in mind when you're over there. Take a look, take a gander, but kind of get out of the way and let the little kids kind of do their thing. So one of the big draws to this little playground is the outhouse. So there's the famous Shrek outhouse, and they have included it in this little play area. It is quite elevated because it's a slide, and it's also known as the farting slide. That's right, when you get close to it and when you go down to the slide, there are farting noises. You can hear them if you're standing outside. You don't necessarily have to go down the slide. It is a tight fit, so if you're not, you know, kind of a certain size, you probably don't want to try to go down it and then get stuck and then kind of ruin other people's day. If you want, you can see it like right from the outside, you can hear it. It is funny, it is amusing, but yeah, that seems to be one of the bigger draws for this little play area. So kind of nestled in the entrance of this kind of little play area is Pinocchio's Fact Shack. This is a fun little interactive element that they've included kind of within the world of Shrek, and it's Pinocchio. He's up in his little tower, and there's like a doorbell that you have to press to get his attention, and he will tell you a fact. Now you'll know if this is an actual fact or not, because if it is a fact, Pinocchio's nose will not grow. So I did press the doorbell twice, and both times he told me a fact and his nose did indeed grow. So unfortunately, the facts that he told me that day were not true. But you can always try your luck whenever you're visiting DreamWorks Land.
Donkey is gonna teach me how to make waffles!
There you go.
Oops! Excuse me! Fairy godmother must have cast a spell on me!
So keeping within the Shrek universe, there is King Harold's Swamp Symphony. Now this is a fun, just kind of little interactive element where you step on the lily pads and you have the Swamp Symphony right in front of you, and they will croak in a key or a note for you. So for those of you who are musically inclined, maybe you can figure out if there's like an actual song that can be played, if certain lily pads are stepped on in a certain order. So continuing around into this portion of the land, which is kind of the entrance and kind of towards the front of the land, is Mama Luna's Feline Fiesta. I did not know about this because this is coming from the movie Puss in Boots 2. So it's kind of still like in the Shrek kind of universe. It's a spin-off obviously with Puss in Boots. It wasn't something that I saw, like I said, but it is part of this land. And it was a little confusing to me. So let me read you the actual description of what this is supposed to be. So it's Mama Luna Feline Fiesta plans to transport guests into the thrilling world of Puss in Boots 2 Last Wish. Guests can play with Mama Luna's cats through the power of interactive screens activated by buttons, bells, maracas, and levers. Keep an eye out as everyone's favorite swashbuckling feline may make an appearance or two. So when I walked up to the area, there really was no direction, there was no instructions. There was a team member present, but she didn't really seem to be like helping anybody kind of learn how to be interactive in the area. So I did go up to the screen and I did it looked like a ball of yarn and like a lever, and like it opened a door and it was the bathroom. I did actually get Puss in Boots using the toilet. So I mean, I guess that was kind of funny. I don't know, okay, I guess, but it just didn't make any sense to me. Were we supposed to do something? Were we supposed to achieve anything? Or is it just, you just go push things and, move things and then something appears in front of you? And so if there's a little bit more direction and a little bit more explanation of what is actually supposed to be going on, would have been great. Otherwise, it was kind of like, I don't know why this little area is here, but it is, and it didn't seem to get much attention from the people that were doing the preview during the time I was doing the preview. But if you happen to go and figure it out, will you let me know? Because I still don't understand what was supposed to be happening in that little interactive area. Also within the entrance, kind of to the right hand side when you first kind of get there are two spots dedicated for meet and greet characters. So one is Gabby's Dollhouse, which I didn't know who this character was at all. I had seen her kind of like meeting in the park before, and obviously it's, like for the little kids, it's like their type of show, which I don't really keep up with the kids shows anymore. I used to a long time ago for my job, but I just kind of have gotten out of that practice, so I didn't know who she was. So for those of you who don't know who Gabby is, let me tell you what the description said. So with a little magic and a new surprise every day, Gabby's Dollhouse is filled with mini worlds, irresistible kitty characters, and super fun adventures. Join Gabby as she unboxes a brand new surprise every episode, shares her excitement with her best stuffed animal pal, Pandy Paws, and takes everyone on the next great adventure. So if you know who Gabby is and your kid is really into Gabby, she now has a dedicated meet and greet spot in the new DreamWorks Land. It's right in the front to the right. So I think she's going to be super popular. I've seen, lines before when she was meeting elsewhere in the park, but now she has a dedicated spot you can find her in DreamWorks Land. So the other spot was kind of a generic kind of DreamWorks cloud backdrop. When I got there, King Julian from Madagascar was out meeting guests. They weren't out there very long. I think it was the end of their meet and greet set. But I was told that there are different characters that meet in that spot throughout the day. So again, there was nothing posted, there was nothing on the app right now. I don't know if it's going to be one of those, it's a surprise moment. I don't know if they're going to have an actual list of characters and their times or any of that stuff. But I do know that this is where, if you want to meet DreamWorks characters, this is kind of the place to go, the dedicated space to go, So next I want to go all the way to the back portion of the new DreamWorks Land. So this used to be the Curious George Goes to Town kind of splash and soak section. And then behind the building was a huge kind of like ball factory where they had these little foam balls and you could like collect them and like put them in cannons and shoot them and do all kinds of little kind of interactive things with them, and it was a lot of fun. So it is now Poe's Kung Fu Training Camp. So the area looks really, really good. It definitely looks like something straight out of the movie. If you're a big fan of Kung Fu Panda and Poe, you're going to love this little section. You can definitely tell if you've been to this area before the retheme. You can tell the parts that were kind of like reskinned and redone. But so first impression was, okay, it looks really cool. I feel like I'm in the world of Kung Fu Panda. In the middle, like right when you come in, there is the big gong, and this is the gong of resounding resonance. So the actual mallet for the gong seemed to be missing, because you could see like I guess the stick, and like I guess where the gong is, it's supposed to be, is just not there. You could still pull the rope, it would still make a sound and do its thing, but so I don't know if the actual mallet is supposed to like hit the gong, or if it was just supposed to sit there, or what the whole purpose is, but it wasn't there during this preview. Hopefully it will appear by the time the land actually opens out of the technical rehearsals. So on the left-hand side of this kind of like big kind of U-shaped building is Mr. Ping's Noodle Caboodle. So this was a little underwhelming for me, because I mean, it looked really cute. Mr. Ping was up top. He kind of has some phrases that he says, and then like there's the noodles that kind of come down. Well, they're kind of like fixed, and like you can like shake them and turn them, and that's probably fun for like 2 seconds, but that's kind of all they do. Like I didn't see them like make anything else happen or whatever, so I didn't really see anybody interacting with them. So it kind of told me what I needed to know about the extent of the noodles that actually came down. Now behind the noodles were two kind of like, I don't know if you remember the old merry-go-rounds in the playgrounds. There probably still some somewhere where, you know, you put the kids on and like you have to, you know, spin it yourself. So that's what these are, but you sit in it. So it sits like 4 people. Normally, I'm sure there'll be other people trying to fit more people than that in there in the future. But that's all it is. You sit in it, they spin it around, okay. You know, it's just, it's a little something, it's a little playground, it's cute. According to the concept art, there was supposed to be more of these, not just 2. So obviously things always change from like concept to creation, but that's what this kind of area is. And I was like, okay, so to me, this is like a sit down and rest for the parents, and then the kids can still have something to be engaged with. Now on the other side is what I called the water side. So they did keep some water elements here. There was a little splash area for kids, like little kids supposed to be. I didn't video that just because there were a lot of little kids playing, and I try not to video the kids, at least their faces, as much as possible. So I didn't want to video that with all the kids playing on it. You know, I felt kind of weird, so I didn't get any video of that. But I did get video of the kind of like water splash area that's on the building. Once again, it was a little underwhelming. So it looks like it's supposed to be like the laundry, and so there's like some laundry hanging up, and there's like this, I don't know, these kind of like spinny things attached to fans, but I heard a team member saying that they weren't working. So again, this is technical rehearsal. Hopefully they'll get all these like bugs and kinks worked out by the time it does open. Behind it, there were like these big water cannons, but they're fixed. They're kind of fixed in a position, and you can aim up, and there's this tiny little bucket that you can fill, and then once it gets full, it dumps over. And that was kind of it. Now, I did notice there is this still giant dump bucket on the very top of the building. And there is, if you look, you can still see like the filling pipe that is still up there. Now, in the concept art, they show this bucket dumping out and, you know, doing the splash thing that it did before when it was Curious George. So I don't know if they're still planning on doing that, and so that side is like the wet side and the other side is the dry side, or if it's still going to be just like for show, or you know what the deal is, or what's going on. So I guess we'll see. I hope they do turn it into more of a splash area like it used to be, at least on the one side, because this summer is supposed to be super hot. It's already crazy, and people are going to need a place to go and like really cool off. So continuing back into the building, so where the ball factory used to be is now Poe Live. So you can go in there, and Poe is in there. He is there to talk to you, train you to be a great ninja warrior. It's a little interactive fun thing. So if you've done like Turtle Talk with Crush over at Epcot at Walt Disney World, this is the same concept. So spoiler alert, it is a screen, but it's Poe, and so he is talking to you, he is interacting with you. So it's very interactive, it's cute, it is cute like Turtle Talk, it's cute. There are no seating though. I mean, there were a couple benches around, but as far as like the actual like main thing, there's no seating. It's all open floor, so you can either have a seat on the floor, or there's times when Poe wants you to get up because he wants to teach you, you know, kung fu. So that's the whole point behind this kind of interaction. But the last kind of major area is actually before you get to Poe's training camp. It's the Trolls area. So this area has the family coaster, the Troller Coaster. So it was the Woody Woodpecker Nut House Coaster. It has been rethemed, repainted, everything into the Troller Coaster. For those of you who have not watched the Trolls movies and know about the Trolls universe, so you are in what is called the Catter Bus, and this is a mode of transportation the Trolls use to get around in their world. And so the idea is that you're getting on the Catter Bus to escape the giant spiders that are kind of like around the coaster. It's a short coaster. It is a family style coaster. There is a height requirement, so not everybody can ride, but most everybody can. It's a cute little ride. I did not do it on this day. It was a super hot day. I just was trying to look for air conditioning and shade. So I didn't ride it, but I mean, I've ridden it in the past. It's cute, it's fun. Or if you have little ones that are kind of sort of adventurous, but they're not quite tall enough for, you know, the bigger attractions that Universal has to offer, this is a good alternative, or a good first coaster if you kind of want to get their feet wet and see how they actually feel about the whole experience. So also in this area is Poppy's Playground, and so it's supposed to be like a giant mushroom, and then it's like the little kind of like houses around, and there's other things like elements to kind of like step on and whatnot. Again, it's like another little play area, but it's all geared to like the little kids. So there seems to be a decent amount of seating and benches around, so the parents can take a seat, but they're there where they can actually see their kids playing and, you know, keep an eye on everybody. So also in the Trolls area, there is a tiny little kind of like gift cart, like it's like a little stand. It's called the High Five Hideaway Store, and so this is the Cloud that's in, you know, the Trolls kind of movies franchise, and so it's kind of like his little store, and there's just various merchandise from the different DreamWorks characters in this little kind of like cart. A little like nod to one of the movies, there's also the Trolls Treats boombox out kind of in the middle in front of the Troll Coaster. They sell like soft serve ice cream, kind of troll themed flavor and whatnot. I really didn't try any of the food or anything. Like I said, it was super hot the day I went. I was just trying so hard to get as much video for this as I could, and then I was like, I need air conditioning, I need shade. It was really hot that day, so I didn't get a chance to try any of the food or any of the treats. So maybe in a future video, I'll get to that and I'll let you guys know if you don't make it there before I do to try it yourself. Alright, so the last piece of DreamWorks Land that I want to tell you about is the new show that they have. It's in the old Barney Theater, those of you that remember that show, but it is the DreamWorks Imagination Celebration. So this is two friends returning to their childhood secret play area to help one of the friends reignite their imagination. So this show, it's a cute show for the land. So there is live singing, there's dancing, and of course you have the characters. They do bring out characters from the 3 main IPs that are featured in the land as of right now. So you get Shrek, you get Kung Fu Panda, so you get Po, and then you get the trolls. It was a good show for being in like a kids area character show. I had a problem because the theater is basically just being reskinned and rethemed. They did put up some new LED walls to kind of help with like the theming and carry you through the story of the show. So that was a really good addition and a really good element. They have some really cool puppets that are involved with the kind of Shrek portion of the show that, you know, they were really, I really enjoyed the puppetry that was in this show. This is not like a high grade type show. This is definitely geared towards kids. It's something to get out of the heat. It's roughly 20 minutes. It brings you through the 3 different kind of like stories. And I mean, it was okay. Like, it was okay. I mean, I'll probably see it again. I'm not going to say I'm not going to, because I probably will. It's just not, it wasn't like, oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. Like, it just wasn't that at all. It was cute. It was a good time to get out of the sun and the heat, sit down for a minute, and just kind of be entertained. The performers themselves, they were good. Like, I don't know. The sound system, again, it's not a good sound system. I really wish they would have upgraded that. They did all this other work on this land. They did all this other work kind of in the theater too. I wish they would have upgraded that sound system, like just a little bit, to kind of help with that space. Like, I don't know what else they need to do to that theater, you know, for the sound to be a little bit better. But it was a little off in some parts, I know, so I think it was a little hard for the live singers to really kind of like hear, you know, like to be like really into it. Like, because there were parts that were like really good, and I was like, okay, this is good. And then there were parts that was like, that's a little cringy. So, but no, but it's a cute show. If you get a chance to go and see it, you want to get out of the heat, you want to see some characters and just have a good time, definitely taking this show while you're in DreamWorks Land. So after I left the DreamWorks Land preview, the E.T. Adventure ride had reopened. It had been closed for kind of a lengthy refurbishment, which it really needed. So you have to remember, this ride is an opening day attraction. So a lot of it is kind of like original parts and pieces that were there back when Universal Studios opened. So it really needed like a lot of love and a lot of care, because it was starting to look really run down. It did get a brand new sign, and it coincides with the new DreamWorks Land just beautifully, like the flow and everything. It's just really nice. It's really big. It's right in the front. You can't miss it. It's amazing. So that right off the bat was a really nice addition to this attraction. So of course, on the ride, you know, I have my brand new camera, and I was really excited because, you know, it has this wonderful low light feature on it that just picks up so much more detail than, you know, the last camera I was using. So I was very excited to get on this ride and see what kind of footage I could get, and it did not disappoint. I don't ride this ride enough to really be able to tell big changes. So like as far as lighting or audio or any of that stuff. So to me, it was still a good ride. I could tell that parts were brighter than they were before. So there were a lot of like light bulbs replaced. There was probably some new lighting and some new other things. All of the animatronics seemed to be working. So they were moving when they were supposed to and that sort of thing, which is really nice. So they did a good job on this refurb. And, you know, so if you're at Universal and, you know, you get a chance to ride E.T., right now it's in a pretty nice, pristine condition. So I do have one thing I want to say to Universal and Steven Spielberg, because I know that's kind of like the contract that they have with this attraction still being there. Please, can we please update this attraction. There's so many new advances with animatronics and just, you know, theatrical elements that are being put into dark rides now, even old ones that are being updated and so on and so forth. Can we please do that with ET? Like, I like the ET attraction. I think it's a cute ride. It's a nice addition to the park itself. But can we update it? Can we just do that? I know they got to keep it, or they're going to keep it, and it's going to go on and on and on. But just take, you know, a little bit of money and give it more love. Give it more of an update, a more updated feel and look, and make it an even more amazing attraction than it already is, please. All right, so it was super hot. It was time for me to end my day and go, but I had to go through the new summer tribute store. So the tribute stores have become like this whole thing on their own at Universal Studios Florida. So this season, the summer season, the tribute store is the Tribute Store Plaza. So the plaza includes the Mega Video, Mega Castle Arcade, and the Tribute Theater. So this tribute store is kind of like an advertisement, sort of kind of in a roundabout way, to the Mega Movie Parade that's supposed to be coming out real soon, and then also the new, and I can't remember what it's called, like it's the cinema something firework show that's going to be on the lagoon. They have included basically, I think, everything that's going to be like included in the parade and in the fireworks show, as far as like the characters you'll see, the movies you'll see. I'm not 100% sure. There may be other surprises they haven't included, but this is kind of like the main stuff that you will see once those things take off a little later on this summer. So as you're entering the tribute store, before you go into the Mega Video, there is the community bulletin board, and there's a lot of stuff on this bulletin board. So there was a few things I did see and I wanted to point out. I'm not very good at Easter eggs most of the time, but I did notice some things on this board I wanted to share with you. So let's go. So there was the officially opening soon Universal Studios map that I noticed. That was kind of cool. I don't know if this is an actual original map or not, but it was really cool to see that on this board. There's a flyer for a baseball game at the Twin Pines Stadium. So I was told this is a nod to the Back to the Future movies, because if you remember in the first Back to the Future movie, they met at the Twin Pines Mall, at least until Marty killed one of the pines. Also on this board, it is Gregory's birthday in the Laser Dungeon. So I was told by a team member that it has been Gregory's birthday coming up for a long time. It's finally here. It's in the Laser Dungeon. His mother wrote a note, please come to his birthday party, and somebody said no. Another flyer is for the Llama Lounge, and it features Earl and the Acorns. So for those of you in the know, this is a nod to our favorite llama, Gerg the llama, and Earl the squirrel, that have become park icons on their own, just for like crazy, weird reasons. But they are here, and there's also nods to them throughout the tribute store if you know where to look. And then the final one I wanted to share was the Global Discovery Group hiring archaeological tour guides, and this is of course a nod to the now closed Poseidon's Fury, which is over in Islands of Adventure. Alright, so the first part of the tribute store that you walk into is the Mega Video, which is kind of like an 80s and 90s mom and pop video type store. They have video rental, they do TV and camera repair. They have a work desk that has all kinds of stuff all over it. I'm sure it's full of Easter eggs that I totally missed. I was just very intrigued by the dot matrix printed sign for the TV and camera repair. For those of you who remember these things, I think I was in elementary school, and all of our teachers would have these types of signs for different things, and it was like so amazing and so cool because they can make banners and then they can do graphics. And so that was like very, very like cutting edge at the time. So this just totally like gave me flashbacks back to, you know, my childhood, which was kind of crazy. Throughout the video rental store, they did have the cardboard cutouts and movie posters. This was a big thing like back then for sure. And of course, sometimes they would actually sell some of these after the movies had made their run to the store itself. A big thing that the tribute stores have been doing is you can be part of the tribute store. They usually advertise like weeks, sometimes months before the next tribute store comes out, where you can become a part of the store, and there is something that goes along with the theme of the store, and you basically have your picture put onto an item, and of course you have to pay for it. It's not cheap, but you pay for it. You're in the tribute store for the run of the store. Once the store is finished, you get this kind of souvenir that was actually sitting in the tribute store, and it's really cool. So this season, because it you know, starts with the video rental, there are the covers, the video covers to, you know, various movies. And so I was kind of looking through, a lot of them are other vloggers and, you know, influencers. They kind of like really tend to really like to do this, and it's fun to like spot them and like, oh my god, I follow that person. And then there's other just, you know, people like, you know, fans of Universal that want to do this. They want the souvenir. It's kind of a cool thing to do and to have. So I haven't done it yet. Maybe in the future I'll think about it. Like I said, it's not cheap, but it is something there, and you can say, hey, this was in the tribute store at Universal Studios Florida. So this is a store, so there is merchandise that you can purchase. In this section I saw mostly kind of like Back to the Future and Ghostbuster merchandise for this area. Of course, they all have like that kind of retro 1980s, 1990s kind of theming to it. So if that's your style or just something that you think would be really cool that you would want, you definitely need to check out this area of the tribute store to get your hands on some of that merch before it's gone. So moving on into the next section is the Mega Castle Arcade. Now again, if you've been to a movie theater, a skating rink even, I don't know, they may still exist, but if you've ever been to an arcade that's like stuck in the 1980s, early 1990s era, this arcade is that arcade. Like the blacklight theming going on, the crazy floor, the video arcade games kind of all over the place. They have a, you know, a thing for prizes. So, you know, I used to love to play skeet ball and, you know, get the tickets and then collect all the tickets. And you always needed like 1,000 tickets for like an eraser or something like that. So they have, you know, the prize kind of counter, whatever. This is where they sell the treats this year for the tribute store. I do not get any of these treats. I know people get them and they love them and they say certain ones are good or whatever. I have not had any luck with these treats. Every time I get them, first of all, they are super overpriced for what they are. Second of all, everything I get is either dry, stale, just not good. I've not had any luck with these treats, so I just don't waste my time or money on them. I'm not saying not to do it, I'm just saying I don't do it. I have not had any good luck with them. I have seen posts where people have bought certain treats out of that case and have loved them and enjoyed them. So if you see something, you know, and you want to give it a try, give it a try. It's just not something that I do in the tribute stores anymore. So if you remember the note, it is Greg's birthday in the Laser Dungeon. So there's a huge sign for it. And if you recognize the sign, it's because you know about the wonderful ride they had over at Islands of Adventure, which is where Hagrid sits right now. It was Dueling Dragons with the Ice and Fire Dragon. Now this being an arcade, there are like a bunch of different games kind of all over the place. Now I could not see any game that you could actually play. So, you know, it's all part of the theming. There's even some games that are not working. So like an arcade, they have the thing on the screen that kind of lets you know that this one isn't working, you gotta find something else to play. They do have a game though that is a new game, it's coming soon, and like most tribute stores, they like to do Easter eggs and they like to do things to like talk about like the next season. So the next season is Halloween. So maybe the new game is going to be like something to let us know what's coming for the Halloween Tribute Store. Maybe it's coming when the actual mega movie parade starts, and there'll be other characters or other IPs featured that have not been announced. We don't know. You just never know with these tribute stores of what they're going to include. There's always stuff they're adding, so it's always fun to kind of like revisit throughout the season, because then you can see like new things, new Easter eggs, new kind of like, you know, nods or, you know, little things to tell you like what might be coming up like within the park or parks within the future. So again, it is a store, and so in this section they do feature a lot of Shrek merchandise. There is a small section that they have Jaws merchandise, and there's like this cool poster. It's got Jaws and like aliens or something. It was just really neat to see that as well. But so that's the merchandise in this section of the tribute store. All right, the final section of this tribute store is the Tribute Theater. So in the theater, they are featuring 4 classic Universal movies. You have Back to the Future, you have Jaws, you have Ghostbusters, and you have E.T. This section, they had some really wonderful displays up around the area. So this is also the concession stand, is where you kind of pay for your merchandise. So it's the end of the store. That's where you're gonna pay for everything. As far as the merchandise in this section, a lot of it is older merchandise from years past. So a lot of the merchandise in this section featuring these 4 different kind of movies I've seen before. It's if you missed out on any of that merchandise in like previous tribute stores or just runs of it, you might want to check it out during the summer, because a lot of it is, I mean, it's stuff that I've seen before. The displays for each of these movies, it's really cool. It's 3D, it's in your face. They have, you know, like projections or whatever going on behind to really kind of bring you into, you know, that scene they're portraying from the movie. They did a really good job with this section. So before you exit the tribute store, you do come upon a Hollywood Walk of Fame star with Earl the Squirrel, who's kind of like etched his name on this star, and then you see his little footprints like he walked away from it. So I think he's kind of giving a little hint like, hey, I need a star on the Walk of Fame at Universal Studios Florida. I don't think that's a bad idea. Maybe that is something that we're going to see in the future. That's the last thing you see before you exit the store and back into the actual park. This season's tribute store, it's actually really cool. It's well thought out. There's a lot of throwbacks for those who are around during the old kind of like video rental days. And there's just so much to see. I know I didn't catch everything. I know there's a lot more stuff in there. Like I said, they also add stuff all the time. So, I mean, as we speak, there could be a bunch more, you know, Easter eggs and, you know, little hints to things that I didn't even see. So, if you make it to Universal this summer, check out the tribute store. You won't be disappointed. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for me this time around. There's a lot of information, I know. This is a big, huge blockbuster of a video. There was all this stuff, crazy stuff going on, and there's still more coming. There's a lot more coming for Universal Studios, Universal Orlando Resort in general. It's going to be a blockbuster summer, and it's going to be amazing. So if you're able to make it out this summer, I hope you have a good time. You check out all the new offerings, you check out all the old offerings. It's just going to be amazing. So yeah, so as always though guys, thanks for following along on my little adventures. And as always, I am Mike the Bee. You never know I'm going to be, I'm just going to be. You be too. I'll see you guys later. Bye!